First time doing that. So hi, hello, the first actual official full-length YouTube video in my apartment in Omaha. Omaha, Nebraska. That's right, I said I was gonna do it and it took an extra year to make that happen. But it happened. So I've been here for a little over a month now and I've uploaded some shorts and audio only videos here and there, but now I'm finally starting to get back into the swing of things and trying to get back into working full-time, bringing my business back alive and all of that, especially now that my iMac is finally back on my desk. I figured the first official full-length video back can be a simple little Q&A about me moving to Omaha. I asked on the YouTube community post here, I've asked on Instagram, and I've also asked on Patreon. So let's get to it. With your chronic pain / fatigue, I'm wondering how you move the heavy objects. So I actually came to Omaha with nothing furniture wise. It was going to be so much cheaper to buy everything new here than to bring a desk and a bed and like a bookshelf and a U-Haul and maybe a dresser. Also the fact that this is a 370 square foot studio, so I had no idea how I would be able to fit all that stuff yet because I didn't know what this space looked like in person. So far, furniture wise, I only have a desk and a bed and a little chair for my desk. The desk was secondhand. I actually got it from one of the baristas at the coffee shop that I always go to. We've known each other a while because I've been here so many times even before I moved. And she was selling a desk. She asked me if I wanted to buy it and I really liked it, so I said yes. And she came over and dropped it off and her boyfriend, or her fiance actually, carried it in, so thankful for that. I did have my mattress and my bed frame shipped here. People did gift those things, so thank you to whoever bought those. The mattress, I actually pulled its box from the mailroom, dropped it on the floor, and then pushed the mattress along the floor. Thankfully, I'm on the ground floor, so it really wasn't that much of an issue. However, the bed frame and everything else heavy, I got a guy to do it for me. I bribed him with coffee and I'm going to be bribing him with lunch at some point soon for the next one. But yeah, the bed frame, I could not even hold up the corner, so I had to wait until he got off work and then drove up here and then carried it like it was nothing. There are advantages to getting somebody who works in maintenance and shit doing this for you. So there's that. So anything that's gonna be super heavy, like eventually once I get a TV at some point and it's gonna go mounted on the wall, hey, can you come over? When are you free next? Because I need help. But things like this chair that I'm sitting on right now, I can carry it. I do have like an end table. It's not really an end table, but I'm gonna use it as one, like probably beside this desk. Anything that's not really something that I can push or carry, I'm just gonna leave it in the trunk of my car if it fits in there until I can get somebody to come help me. If push comes to shove, everything's going over to the move-in ramp and we're just gonna push and scoot and hope for the best. But yeah, that's partially why I don't really have a whole lot still. One, because I can't find anything that I really like, and two, everything's just so heavy. What are you most excited to do in Omaha? So in the summer, and I'm pretty sure in the fall as well, there's a whole bunch of things to do downtown and everywhere else. So I'm just excited to just hang out and see what's around. Because even when I was just visiting, it was mostly, I mean, I did some events here, but I didn't realize just how much there was, like markets and little shows and concerts and things like that. And I'm just kind of excited to just breathe, to be honest, and be at peace and I don't know, just do more than sit around all day. I've been doing a lot of sitting around all day for the last month, but you know, that's just getting settled. What was one of the most important lessons you learned from moving to Omaha? That it's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows, because unfortunately, a month into moving, I took Simon to the vet because he wasn't pooping. And he now has a diagnosis of stage 2 kidney disease. So that kind of brought me down to reality a little bit. Because the first month was like, yay, I'm in Omaha, yay. Actually, I've had my depressive my depressed episodes in that first month because it is lonely. I didn't think it was gonna be as lonely because it usually mostly kind of wasn't. But since moving here, it's still been a little bit lonely. But yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows because Simon has stage 2 kidney disease, and that's been rough. It's not the end of the world, but it's still not a fun thing to hear. How are Zane and Simon settling into your new place? So I'm not fooling myself into thinking that this is their absolute favorite place to be in, because they went from a 2-story, 2-bedroom townhouse apartment thing into a 370 square foot studio that doesn't have a whole lot of furniture right now. I was mostly worried about Zane because he tends to be more stressed out about things, but he's been surprisingly pleasant. He's doing a little bit better now that I have a little cat tree for him, and then there's another one that needs to be built. Somebody also gifted it to me, thank you. So once that goes up as well, I think he'll be very happy. But right now, since there's mostly just a bed, I know Zane would like a little bit more. When I got this chair, he was very happy about that as well, but he needed his own little setup, and he can be by the window. There's a nice little like garden patio type of deal because we're on the ground floor. So you can look out that, although he's not right now. And then Simon's been doing pretty well, although now he's looking a little more like he has stage 2 kidney disease, finding that out. The last couple of days been pretty like meh because he just hasn't been going to the bathroom, but last night he pooped, so we're very happy about that. I'm sure some of you are like, why are you telling us this? I'm just saying, if your cat's not pooping, take him to the vet. But yeah, they're doing much better than I expected, although I know it's a little bit rough on Simon because Zane really likes to play and it's much smaller of a space to do that in. But hopefully once I get more furniture that they can actually separate themselves on and stuff like that, it'll be a little bit better. Have you found a good spot for filming, or is lighting still a bit of an issue? So one of the things I don't like about this spot is that there's next to no natural lighting. So I had the big ceiling light up and I had the windows open, the blinds open, but because literally the next building is like mere feet away and we're on the ground floor, it's so hard to get natural light in here. The sun's coming out now, and there'll be like a very small sliver in time where the natural light comes in, but it just makes everything so dark still. So I've been looking up, trying to find like ways to try to make it brighter. I know mirrors are supposed to be a thing, so I'll probably have an over the door mirror over here because I'm not allowed to put holes in the doors. I can in the walls, but I cannot in the doors. So there's that. Most of the time it's a little bit of a struggle, I think, but right now this might be okay with this light and the little bits of sun that are coming in. It's raining today. It's summer. I don't know what to tell you. So my desk is right in front of this window, so this is the only light that I have besides what's in the kitchen, which really isn't much either. It's even worse actually. So just be right in front of this big old window and filming here. Camera goes on the desk, I sit here, and this is the background for right now. Did it take a while to sink in that you had finally managed to move away for good? A little bit, especially while I still only had like a little floor bed. It wasn't until finally I had a bed to actually like sleep in that it really started to like even just a little bit kick in. But I think I'm always going to be paranoid given how my situation has always been for so long. So I'm always going to be constantly thinking about the next paycheck and trying to find that next paycheck to make sure that I can pay my rent, my bills, my car payment. My car payment especially is way too expensive. But yeah, cue me plugging in my Patreon and my website here so you can support my work via Patreon if you would like, or hire me for my accessibility services. How do you like Omaha so far? I mean, I've always liked Omaha ever since the first time that I visited, so I still like it. It's funny though because I've spent so little time downtown and so much more time in like middle south West Omaha, just going back and forth between a bunch of stores to get stuff here. So I haven't been downtown nearly as much as I used to. I think I've been really twice since I moved here a month ago. On my birthday and then sometime earlier than that. I mean, I've been to like very quickly to like the coffee shops and to the farmer's market, but I actually really haven't like hung out around downtown like I used to when I would just be here visiting. But yeah, so far so good. It's like, to me, it's always been like the greater Toronto area, and if you haven't been following me since like 2015, I spent 3 years back and forth between North Carolina and Toronto. Toronto is like home for me, home, but obviously I cannot live there. For me, Omaha and Lincoln has been as if you took the greater Toronto area and split it, and then Omaha is more like Toronto and maybe a little bit into the suburbs, actually, yeah. And then Lincoln is more like the outer suburbs of the greater Toronto area. So that's been pretty nice. Especially also because I've seen Canadian chains here that I never saw back in North Carolina, and I was very shocked by that. What kind of food, places, or events in the area are you interested in doing? There are still so many food places around Omaha and also Lincoln that I have not been to that I want to try. There's so many local spots here. There are also a lot of local spots that have closed that I've been pretty sad about. We had a horror themed bar here, and while the food wasn't really great and the drinks was just okay, you know me and my love for horror, so it was so nice going over there. And then I went for my birthday, or I wanted to go for my birthday, and as it turns out, they were closed. They closed down. So that's been sad. I'm gonna be more excited for more deaf events that happen. I know of a few that are coming up, and also just little things in general, especially like the fall stuff. I want to go to the pumpkin patch and things like that. Just the little things I never really got to do elsewhere because either we didn't have it or I don't know, just the Midwest is gonna do it better. What hobbies do you think you might expand or get into now that you have the time, safety, and space? That's actually a really good question. I don't know. I am hoping that I could get more writing done, and I mean like an actual full-fledged like novel or memoir, autobiography, whatever. I'm hoping to finally get into the headspace where I'm not so distracted and be able to finish the death-related one, and now this child abuse, livelihood abuse one that's now gonna be popping up into my brain. And then I have way too many ideas for novels themselves that I cannot get them down on paper. I have all the outlines ready, but actually writing it all out in a book is hard. Dance classes would also be fun. I'm not exactly sure what kind. Okay, by the look on the look on my face, you could probably tell what kind I'm thinking of. But I don't know, something like that. I did actually look some stuff up before I moved here, and there are places. Other than that, I really don't know. I don't know what I like it. I don't know what I like besides watching movies and writing them and writing books and things and reading. So maybe we'll find something else besides going to Jean Leahy and chasing the ducks. And by chasing the ducks, I mean just standing there and looking at them. I'm not terrorizing the ducks, okay? I promise. Did you do anything to research or vet the local deaf community? Like, did you find out before moving there if there were a lot of deaf events? So I visited Omaha 3 times last year before I actually moved here. And I already knew that deaf people lived here because my friend Rensa lives here. My friend Artie lives an hour away from here. So I knew that there were deaf people here. And I had found out about an event that was happening before my first visit, and I had gone to that. And there is actually a very decent sized community here, even more than in North Carolina, at least where I was, that consists of people more my age and not just people in K-12 or people old enough to be the students' grandparents. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more that happens here. The Iowa School for the Deaf is literally right across the state line, which is like 15 minutes away from me. And then Nebraska Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing is in Lincoln, 45 minutes away. So there's definitely a lot that's going on here deaf-wise, and it's one of the reasons why I moved here. Omaha is in Nebraska? Why? Who moves to Nebraska? I moved to Nebraska. When I first visited here last spring, I was shocked. I was shocked that I was gonna spend day 4 in the mall parking lot crying because I didn't want to leave. Listen, I came here to visit. I loved it so much. There were more people here that I knew than back at home, old home, and there was so much that I could do all within like a 20-minute radius unless I wanted to go drive out to Lincoln. And yeah, it's more affordable here than it is back in North Carolina. Taxes might be a little bit up there, but you win some, you lose some. But so far, everything here has been so much cheaper, including the vet bills. So much cheaper. Not cheap, but significantly cheaper. And I mean, yeah, if you go out past Omaha and past Lincoln, yeah, there might not be too much. I mean, scenery-wise so far, I haven't gone out far enough to like the really good spots like the lakes and stuff, but Omaha and Lincoln, I'm happy with it. It's so funny. Quite a few people that I know were also surprised to find out that I was moving here, because a few of them are like, dude, I want to leave Nebraska, and I'm just like, well, my situation's gonna be different, and I'm happy to be here. So I mean, yeah, with North Carolina, you had the mountains, you had the beaches, and you had the city, and here you got lakes. And I mean, scenery wise, it's not the same as North Carolina and over there. But how was the journey from North Carolina to Omaha? For the most part, it was kind of a breeze. The difference being that I had way more stuff to carry. I had cats to bring with me, so that made it just a tiny bit more stressful because I'm worried about the cats and things like that. There was a moment when I was driving through Kentucky, and this one specific part of Kentucky where I was convinced that the engine was breaking in my car because I kept hearing like this clinking noise. It turns out it was just kitchenware clinking from the roads. Car going up and down. I should have realized that, considering the sound sounded more far away than it did up close. So it would have been louder if it was up close because I would be right by the engine and not at the back. Oh, it was a stressful time, so every little thing was like freaking me out. But the cats did fine, surprisingly. Are there more work opportunities in Omaha itself, or would most gigs still be remote ones? I think at this point it's going to be a little bit up in the air. The one thing is that I do know way more people here, and especially in the deaf community, so I would have a little bit more of an opportunity in trying to find something because networking and things like that is going to be a hell of a lot more easier. Downside is college education stuff. People want degrees, which I don't have. So, but I do have the skills because my own business is the same amount of skills as what they want, as what jobs in general tend to want. So it's kind of up in the air at this point. So right now I'm still relying on remote ones, like especially for my business, trying to get more business deals on YouTube, on other social media I have, writing stuff, getting clients that want to have their accessibility be better, things like that. Again, hire me. But I am going to be looking into the more traditional job route as well because it would be nice to have something a little more set in stone because money may run out and I'm gonna need a little more cushion and something a little bit more stable just in case. That, and I wouldn't mind having a little more routine, and routine that comes from somebody telling me that I need to go somewhere rather than me being like, well, I could wait to do this video, or I could be better at disciplining myself. That's also a thing. Have you found some good spots like coffee shops for getting writing done? Are always going to be top writing spots. However, it gets crowded very quickly. So there are certain times that you go if you want to be able to find a seat and also not have to deal with so much commotion. Because even with hearing aids out, everybody is so kind of cramped together and everybody's so loud that I can hear just enough that it's going to bother me. Whereas with, and you've got a bunch of locations, everything is much more spread out where the seating is, and people tend to go there to work themselves. Very rarely have I been over there and it's really a whole lot of commotion, because most of the time people are there by themselves working. They do sell food there, but it's more like on the snack side, so usually it's quick if they do stay to eat. But with they have more meal type of things, so people are like still sitting there and getting brunch or whatever there. So there are many more coffee shops that I need to go try out, but or the two that I always went to when I was just visiting, so I'm still just going to them until I finally go to these other spots, and they are just more convenient because they're closer. And those are all the questions that you had for me, so I hope you got to learn a little bit more about why I ended up coming to Omaha and how it is, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting more settled in and finally being able to chill out and have this space feel more like my own. It still doesn't completely feel like my own. It's a mess. There's nowhere for anything to go, so a lot of stuff is just on the floor. But hopefully once I find what I like and I can get that stuff on the walls, I'm waiting for the TV to go up first, because that's going to be the biggest thing and I need to know what I'm working with. Yeah, right now it still kind of feels just like a hotel room, because it is just a little bit bigger than an ordinary hotel room. So we're gonna get there eventually. I know people have said like it takes at least like 3 months before you start to feel like you have a home, especially if you are just having your first home and you don't really have anything, versus like if you're just moving to another apartment from another apartment and you have stuff already. But for me, everything's gotta get coming in. But yeah, I mean, if there's any video ideas that you could think of that you would like to see, let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. There is like a sort of accessibility in Omaha series that I'm thinking of doing, and I did upload a short video for one of the things that just happened. So something along the lines of that, if you haven't seen that yet. But we shall see. Until then, I'm gonna hopefully get more content for you regularly. We'll see what happens. If you would like to support the work that I do, help me with the livelihood and all that stuff, again, I do have a Patreon page. For as low as $1 a month, you get exclusive content, exclusive perks, things like that, all depending on what tier you have. But for as low as $1 a month, you get something. If you don't want to do a monthly contribution to Patreon, there is a super chat down here. It's like YouTube's tip jar, so that's always very much appreciated. Subscribe if you have not yet, and there will be future uploads, happier uploads, more peaceful uploads, for as long as bad things do not happen in society. But for the most part. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I very much appreciate it, and I will see you later.